You're watching Metal Master Kingdom, where metal reigns.
Hi, I'm Marty with Metal Master Kingdom, and I'm interviewing Aaron Rieseberg from YOB today. How's it going?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? We were just talking about the heat wave. You guys have been followed by it.
We've just been, following it, or it's been following us. We've been chasing each other.
Yeah, my God. I can't really, that's terrible.
This is probably the hottest tour we've ever been on.
Yeah.
We started in Oklahoma and then following that from the south, working our way back up the East Coast, and it's just been blazing everywhere.
Oh my God, yeah, that sounds terrible. But at least there's some fans in AC here now.
Yeah.
It's not as hot as it was, so.
I could feel it blowing when we were sound checking. I was like, yes, finally.
Yes. So, first of all, I want to say I've been a huge fan of you guys for like 5 years or so, and I absolutely loved Clearing the Path. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. And I go back to it over and over and over again, and I was so excited to hear that you guys are putting out this new album and that you'd be touring with it, especially given, Mike's health concerns and everything that was going on. So first of all, I'm just super stoked that you guys have something new to offer. Yeah. And that you're here, and it's really evident from like all the interviews that I've read that you guys really work as a team, that you're like a solid unit of three helping each other out.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, during this time with Mike's health, how did you guys support each other as a unit? Like, what did you guys do? What strength did you draw from in order to keep going?
Well, while Mike was sick, which, once he first became, first became sick and was in the hospital, right when he got out, we went and visited him, and he told us even more details. I mean, we were in the loop talking on the phone, but Travis and I went and visited him, and he filled us in on everything he was going to have to do and like what could potentially happen. We knew he had to have a second surgery. So anyway, fast forward a little bit, and we just kept in contact all the time. I'm up in Portland, so I'm about 2 hours north of Mike, and Travis is in Albany, which is about right in the middle of Mike and I. Mm-hmm. So we talked on the phone a lot, texted, sent each other funny videos and goofy stuff like we always do, but man, just kept it pretty light.
Like
and,
constant contact being a key thing.
We were always in contact with each other.
Yeah.
Kind of like we normally are.
Yeah.
We just, even though we weren't practicing on the weekends, we were still like very much, staying in close contact.
Yeah.
And man, that was like 5 or 6 months that we didn't practice, and it was really just visiting a couple times and phone contact.
Wow.
Mike started feeling well, and about like a month or two in, he started picking up the guitar again, and he was telling us he's been working on these ideas, and he was feeling good, and which was amazing because it was looking like very uncertain for a good chunk of time. Yeah. So it was kind of like, oh wow, he can pick up the guitar again. And the second surgery was a total success. I'm kind of rambling on about it. But,
were there ever those talks at some point where things were really bad? Like, what happens if he doesn't make it? Like, were there any sort of safeguards in place in terms of like creative ones? Like, what would happen with the band, or what's going on? Like, were there any talks of that nature?
Yeah. I mean, we
That's kind of heavy, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't sure if Mike was going to have... I mean, they felt good. Like, they have a lot of success with that surgery.
Right.
But there's different levels of the surgery, of like how far they have to go, or whether Mike would have to have like a permanent colostomy.
Right.
Which in that instance, we wouldn't be able to tour or travel. It would be really, really hard. But we knew that he would still be able to play music. At least we could still do that, and he was going to for sure be alive, unless they really, really botched the surgery. But there was
which they didn't, because they said they were amazing doctors as well involved. Yeah.
It was as gnarly and gruesome as it was. It was like he was in very good hands, and family was near, and good docs.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I mean, once he was back and recovering, getting better, and sharing all these ideas, one of the things I read was that the way he sings has changed, where he finds resonance in his body has changed. And
totally.
Did you find that you guys also had to adapt the way that you were playing, not necessarily to accommodate, but to, continue onward so you could keep creating the music that you were playing before, but perhaps do something different? Was there anything that you or Travis had to also change?
No, that all was pretty much the same. And it was kind of like riding a bike, for lack of a better term. Like once we started playing again, like it was like we never stopped.
Yeah, so he dealt with his own sort of changes, and then you guys just continued, and
right.
That's awesome.
And Mike did a ton of work by himself, just working on vocals and getting that back.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of anxiety and like fear that he would rupture something down here, so he was pulling from deeper down, and singing. It gave him like this different timbre in his voice.
I definitely noticed that on this album. It kind of sounds grittier almost. There's something more raw even than before, which I wasn't able to conceive, but that's super awesome. It's just coming from this even deeper place.
Totally.
Right?
And then I feel like he got, even like the way he's singing, he got a little more range this way, or maybe it's because he just worked his ass off so much on getting it back. But he just got definitely, went to some different places and unlocked some hidden ranges.
That's super cool. I mean, I was reading a lot about how he was finding resonance in like parts of the head especially, right? So that's where like a higher range would come through and all of that. So that's super amazing to hear, people exploring different areas of music and how they can push their bodies further to do something, especially in a place of healing. And do you find that even writing this album together and putting the ideas together, was that a healing experience after all of this turmoil that everyone went through as well?
Man, it was. Yeah. It felt like once we started practicing again, there was this like a really heavy, like sort of grave, almost like I hope Mike's gonna be okay, because he was still very much in the healing process and would still get like pains,
of course,
holding his guitar for an hour, he'd be like, oh, I gotta sit down and take a break, and it was like, yeah, just take it easy. But as he got better, he started getting better and better as the weeks went on, and it just felt, you could tell that he felt better, which just made us all feel better being in the same room.
Yeah.
And also there was this feeling of like celebration and like an extra special. We had reconnected, and we felt like just a kind of a new connection, but also like a feeling of like we are very fortunate to play with each other, and how much we love each other as buds and family. But at the same time, Mike was still healing through all of that. So it kind of felt like we healed together. In a way.
Through working through all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Bell Witch guys definitely felt that when they were writing Mirror Reaper was kind of a similar thing, after mourning the loss of their bandmate and friend, just putting this all together and doing it was healing for them as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to have two bands showcasing two albums that do that, because I think from what I've talked to a lot of people about the last year, it seems like a lot of people, are going through hard times, whether that's financially or personally, and like with the state of the world and everything going on. I think a lot of people are looking for that kind of healing. So even though doom music or heavy music is seen as something very sad, ultimately what I find interesting is that with both Bell Witch's Mirror Reaper and also with Our Raw Heart, it has these moments that are very triumphant, very, inspiring and bringing people up. So you guys are super successful of that. It's like alchemy almost, I find, like emotional alchemy. I don't know if you would agree with that.
I think in a couple instances, I know what you mean. At least I feel that way. It hits me like that.
Yeah. Are you impacted by your own music in that way too? Like when you play it?
I think this one more than ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to like be really in it and super up close, writing and recording, and then coming out of the studio and then getting space away from the music and then coming back to it. And then that's when I started feeling like the most impacted by it, I guess, is once I could step away after some time and be like, you can just I hear this energy in the music that we kind of captured in the performances and the writing.
Yeah.
And the vocals, it just has like this, I can hear the feeling that we had as a band in the studio, and like I feel like it captured that, which is really cool to me.
Yeah. I mean, every night it's new for each audience, right? Hearing you guys play, do you still find it new and invigorating each time that you play as well? Like, maybe not every single time, but as you're touring, do you find that there's still energy in it, that you still feel the impact of the emotions that you've all put into it?
Yeah, especially when we play the new songs.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling those out and really getting to know them, because like I was saying, while we were writing them in the studio, so much stuff was new and being written in the studio, that coming out of it and learning that. So I feel like every night you learn it a little bit more, and
right, different parts maybe.
Yeah, totally. And maybe ways you wish you would have played something, so you played a little differently live, and just playing it in front of an audience who's somewhat familiar with the material and connecting with the audience on the music. That is.
Yeah, and the responses must be a little bit different each time as well from
Totally.
the audience, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
We're getting, the new stuff is starting to get tight, and it's getting funner to play. You can almost start to let loose a little more, because there's a little bit of that muscle memory there at this point. Now that we're like 17 shows into the tour. So we've only played the songs live like 20 times or something like that. So it's starting to get the lock and starting to get a little more freedom around playing live and different ways to gel
so
together.
You can go to that higher place and just let it all go.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. I was wondering also, since you've been playing in YOB, how have you seen the concept of doom metal and heavy music? How has it been changing over the last few years, like both within YOB and also as like a greater community, greater scene, so to speak?
Man, one way a lot of these older bands have come and started playing again.
I've noticed that, yeah.
A lot of the ones who like lit the torch in the beginning, you know, they're coming back and playing, getting a lot of support. So there's like this revival, and there's a lot of bands that are paying tribute to that and doing that, or there's some stuff for people who are just trying to push it like into more extremes, and you know, like, or getting wild with it, like Paul Bear. They bring in a lot of that prog. They're trying to like really push it and do something, take it out there, you know. Also, but in their roots they have a lot of the traditional stuff, but I really like the way, like, where they're taking it, or like Primitive Man, how just when you think things couldn't be any more crushing, they like go a little deeper, or so there's just some more extremes from certain bands. But yeah, it's cool to see a lot of these older bands, like, you know, Warning coming back and playing again.
Yeah.
So now that it's a more popular kind of genre, it's cool to see some people doing new things with it.
Yeah, for sure. And there seems to be like more diversity of voices, and like, you know, there's more women coming into it as well. More differences coming in. So that's been really cool to see in the scene as well, I think. Yeah. This last King Woman record. Oh yeah.
I really dig that. They just got their own. Yeah, there's a lot of unique kind of personalities happening. Sure. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's great to see people supporting each other, and like older bands that are more established supporting newer bands, or like people with more marginalized groups who are starting these projects coming up as well. So that's super cool as well. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. With I think probably my favorite track off this new one was The Beauty in Falling Leaves. And I don't know if that's your favorite. It's definitely my favorite one. It's just so,
I think it is,
beautiful. Probably everyone's a favorite in some way or another. But how do you, I guess, make something that resonates with so many people? Like, where does that idea start from? Does it start from a feeling that you all work with, and then you find like the riffs and the melodies that kind of evoke that feeling? Or is it a little bit more organic? Or
man, it was pretty organic. Like Mike, like when he came with those ideas, he had like a pretty fully formed, you know, bunch of pieces that fit together. And then it's really just about us, the three of us, playing it over and over and trying to find the right ways for me to hit the bass lines and the counters with the rhythm, or with the drums and the guitar. Sorry, excuse me. But also, I would say it's more just about the organic thing of us just being in a room and playing it over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were working on that one still when we were in the studio. We were still trying to figure out these little twists and how to lock in the right way. It took a long time to get it right.
Yeah.
That one did. Like we worked really, really hard on it. Like to find the right fills, and vocally, we didn't know what Mike was going to do vocally until we got into the studio with that one, with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of ideas on his own. But as far as demoing the stuff goes, we only heard vocals for like a blaze and the screen, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That one's like a really harsh one, almost, I would say. It's really like grinding into the heart of things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that Beauty and Fallen Leaves, it was really just taking this original inspiration that Mike had and then just playing it over and over and over. And things just started to kind of grow and evolve to the place where it became,
That's beautiful.
The take, like that time that we recorded it sounded different than the time we played it before that in the studio. And the time before that. That was like the third take.
Yeah.
And we liked the way we hit it that time. There's something special about it. And we listened back to the live take, and we're like, I think that's it. And that one, I think because it was sort of a surprise how it was going to turn out, it ended up being maybe my favorite song on the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way once I heard Mike's vocals on there, I was like, oh, it was not what I expected, I guess. He hit like this new high, and it almost hit me like when I heard Marrow fleshed out fully, where it was like pulling on the heartstrings.
All the heartstrings.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. It has a similar feel to Marrow in some ways too.
Yeah, a little bit. I totally hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for, coming here and doing this interview with us. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun. And signing off from No Master King. This is Marty, and we were talking with Aaron Rieseberg.